Hey everyone, I just picked up some Mauve switches and I want to talk about which lube I think goes best with these switches. Before I begin, I just want to state that lubing is all personal preference. There's no right or wrong lube to use, but I just want to talk about each one. This is sort of a rant, so I apologize in advance if it seems like there's no structure, and I'll try to keep the ums and the stutterings to a minimum. So the lubes that I tested today are MCG 129, 206 grade 0, and 206 grade 00. So right off the bat, these switches are pretty smooth stock. I think for any general user, they'd be pretty happy with using them unlubed. And this applies to all other JWK switches because they're pretty much all the same. This is the H1s, the alpacas, and the dries and the silks, I think, from novel keys. Yeah, they're all the same. But for me, I think sound and feeling are both equally important. And the Mauve stock, they just sound really loud. And for me, that's enough reason for me to lube them. So I have some switches here already lubed. I can go talk about it. Let me move my mic closer to the switch so I can hear them. So this is stock. As you can hear, there's a very noticeable upstroke, kind of like a ticking. I hate that. I hate hearing that sound in my keyboards. This is the MCG 129. Notice it's a lot deeper. But in terms of smoothness, they're pretty much identical. I wouldn't even know this is lube. But the only reason why I would know this is lubed is because it has a deeper upstroke. But if I had like headphones on and I was typing on these, yeah, it's hard to tell. I think some people actually don't like lube switches because they're very sensitive to those sort of things. Like, although it's smoother, the complaints that I hear are the slower key travel of lube, that effect. And if you're one of those people, I think MCG 129 is your best bet to go with because it kind of masks that upstroke ticking sound, but at the same time it feels pretty much like stock Mauves, which is not a bad thing because these switches stock are pretty fine. Okay, so this is 205 grade 0. And you can definitely tell that these are lubed. They feel a lot smoother, and the upstroke is a little deeper. And then this is 206 grade 0. Yeah, it's probably the deepest sounding one, as you can imagine. And the upstroke and the feeling is a lot smoother than 205. But the trade-off that you get with this is the key travel is a little slower, even if you apply just a little bit. But to me, I think that trade-off is worth it. So this is stock. MCG 205, 206. Now, when comparing switches on lube, I think it's best to try to get an unbiased opinion, and in order to do that, you gotta do a blind test. Because when you know, I feel like your decision on which lube that you like more is heavily influenced when you know which switch has which lube. So let's do a blind test here. Got the 5, 8, 0 dash. Okay. I think this is stock. This is MCG. This is 206. Okay. Final answer. 205. Stock. 206. MCG. Okay. 8 was stock. Yeah, alright. Stock. Fuck, what did I say? I think I said this is MCG. Yep, MCG. Because I wrote a little M here. 205. Yeah, 205. And 206. There's a little 6 here. Okay. Yeah. So just what I thought. Think 206 is what I would go with in terms of feeling, sound. But if you're very sensitive to lube, I think the MCG is your next best bet. And then, but you know, I think ultimately you'd be pretty happy with any of them. But for me, it's got to be 206.